Students, as we finish the paraphrasing and understanding the poem, let's discuss the central idea. Aging is an important phase of human life. A person enters his childhood, experiences youth when he is full of energy and dreams to have luxury of life. Finally, he approaches his old age, encounters death. The relationship between people becomes stronger at every aspect of life, and they cannot bear separation due to aging, as we have seen in our poem as well. As the daughter, she's observing that her mother has become old, fragile, weak, and maybe this is the end of her journey. She becomes more, protective, more like caring about her mother. She doesn't want to leave her mother, but due to her commitments, she has to leave. She's not having any option. Let's have a quick look at the key points. Driving from her parents' house in Cochin, the previous Friday morning, the poet saw her mother beside her doze off with an open mouth. She felt like her mother's grey face resembled a dead body. She wanted to put that thought away and looked outside the car window. Young trees appeared to be running in opposite direction, and happy children were spilling out of their homes. At the airport security check, she looked at her mother standing at a distance and she thought she resembled a pale winter moon. She felt her old childhood fear of separation, but all she said was, "See you soon, Amma." And all she could actually do was smile, smile, and smile, just to hide her fear, hide her anxiety that when she comes again to meet her mother, whether she will be alive or not. Let's have a look at poetic devices of the poem. As I've told you before, my mother at 66, the form like free verse has been used as a confessional poem. Themes we just discussed is aging, separation, and filial love. And now coming to contrast. The old age of mother versus the vitality of young children and trees. And the next poetic device is personification. Young trees sprinting. What is sprinting? Sprinting basically means it means to run. So a human quality is given to trees. Now moving towards simile. As old as she looked, as late winter noon. So there has been use of simile to compare mother to the late winter moon. Then we can see use of repetition also in last few lines where and smile, smile, and smile has been used to emphasize the that how the author is trying to hide her fear, her anxiety, that whether she will be able to meet her mother or not. And we can see the use of poetic device imagery. The imagery used in the poem is suggestive of both death and youth. The image of young trees and merry children are contrast to pale old mother in car. And the another important poetic device used in the poem is metaphor, children spilling. So these are the poetic devices used in the poem. There are a couple of more which I am leaving to you to find out. Let's now have a quick look at the questions of the poem. What is the kind of pain and ache that the poet feels? So basically, students, when the poet looks at her mother's face closely, she discovers that she has aged and her end is near. The feeling of her mother being old, needing care, help pains the poet as there is no one to look after her. She feels that her mother can die any moment and that then she will lose her forever. Her childhood fear of losing her mother, which was then timely but now will be forever, resurfaces. The poet feels the pain of her mother's old age and her helplessness towards her. She has the fear of separating from her mother forever. So that was like how the pain and ache that the poet feels about. Why are the young trees describes as sprinting? So, as I told you while discussing poetic devices, what does sprinting mean? The young trees have been here personified when looked at From the poet's moving car, they seemed to be running past. The poet found it to be quite strikingly opposite to her mother, who looked as still as a dead body. And now, your question number three. Why has the poet brought in the image of merry children spilling out of their homes? The poet tries to draw a comparison between what is traveling with her and what she can see outside. It's a comparison between life and death. Her mother is sleeping with mouth open like a dead body, while outside children can be seen who are full of life, energy, and enthusiasm. So, this has actually been brought to draw the comparison and to show us both the aspects of life. So, moving towards question number four. Why has the mother been compared to late winter's moon? Just as I told you before, just as the late winter's moon is dull, lackluster, so is her mother at the last stage of her life. And also, the late winter moon gets overshadowed by fog and mist in the sky. Similarly, her mother's life has got overshadowed by death, and any time her end can come. Both of them are nearing an end of one season, and the other one is the end of her life. That's how the comparison has been drawn. Now, last question is, what do the parting words of the poet and her smile signify? This very important question. The parting words of the poet show her positive attitude. She overcomes her pain and fear, assures herself and her mother that they would meet again. She's being very brave, which is indicated by the use of this repetition in the poem, smile, smile, and smile. So, children, I have discussed questions with you, paraphrased poem for you, and spoken about the poetic devices theme of the poem. I hope that you have understood the poem very well, and you'll be doing these questions and summary and plus poetic devices in your notebook, and we'll be looking forward for your feedback. And thank you so much. Happy learning.